Hello, readers. You have been reading lots of fiction this year and thinking about lessons the characters are learning in stories. Today, we're going to zoom in on determining the theme in poems and consider what the speaker has reflected on or learned. So today in our lesson, I want to teach you that readers determine the theme of a poem. And they do this by describing how the speaker feels about the topic, and then they ask themselves, how do the speaker's feelings connect to real life to determine the theme? And it's important that we notice the speaker's feelings in a poem, as this is one way that the poet provides clues about a possible theme. So as we go throughout our lesson today, we're going to be asking ourselves these three questions. How does the speaker feel about the topic? How do the speaker's feelings connect to real life? And what is the theme? So we're going to take a look at a poem titled, Pick Up Your Room. I'm going to put our questions over here for us in our teaching point. Okay, so pick up your room. So I know that you're probably already having some feelings about this poem, as you might have some connections to the title. We're going to read the poem first, and then we're going to reread it again, considering the strategy to determine our theme. Pick up your room. Pick up your room, my mother says. She says it every day. My room's too heavy to pick up. That's what I always say. Drink up your milk, she says to me. Don't bubble like a clown. And of course, she knows I'll answer. I'd rather drink it down. And when she says at 8 o'clock, you must go right to bed, we both repeat my answer, why not go left instead? So now that I've read it once, I'm going to read it again, but this time I'm going to think aloud and also jot down some of my thinking about how the speaker feels about this topic, how do the speaker's feelings connect to real life, and what is the theme? Okay, so let's get started. Pick up your room, my mother says. She says it every day. My room's too heavy to pick up. That's what I always say. So let me think. How does the speaker feel about this topic? Well, I think that the speaker does not want to pick up his or her room. In the poem, the speaker makes fun of the phrase the mother uses, pick up your room. And the speaker says, my room's too heavy to pick up. That's what I always say. Right here, the speaker shows that she's annoyed at her mother, as the speaker always replies to her mother's request to clean up her room by replying to her with that literal meaning of pick up my room, as a room would be too heavy to pick up. So as I was thinking aloud, I also jotted a little bit. And what I said was, in stanza 1, the speaker doesn't want to pick up her room. In the poem, the speaker makes fun of the phrase, pick up your room, and the speaker says that her room is too heavy to pick up. This shows that she is annoyed. So as we continue to read, we need to also ask ourselves that question of how do the speaker's feelings connect to real life, and what is the theme? So I'm starting to think just from stanza 1 that the reader can connect the speaker's feelings to real life because they're either a child now or they once were a child where they were probably asked to clean up their room by a parent. We can all remember how when asked that question, we were bothered by this request. And maybe it's not, and maybe it's about it not being the right time, or maybe we think that our room doesn't look that bad, but I'm starting to think, how does this connect to real life? They probably are a child or were a child, and they definitely can remember being bothered by this request. And I'm wondering, so that last question of what is a possible theme, I'm wondering if a possible theme could be about doing the right thing. So as we keep reading, we're going to read stanzas 2 and 3 now, keeping these questions in the back of our minds. We're going to think, how does the speaker feel about this topic? How do the speaker's feelings connect to real life? And what is the theme? So let's dive in to the rest of the poem. Drink up your milk, she says to me, don't bubble like a clown. Of course she knows I'll answer, I'd rather drink it down. And when she says at 8 o'clock, you must go right to bed, we both repeat my answer, why not go left instead? So how does the speaker feel about the topic? Well, readers, I'm definitely noticing a pattern here, and the speaker continues to respond to their mother saying that they cannot do the literal things that they're being asked to do. For example, drink up your milk. The speaker says, I would rather drink it down. And this shows that the speaker is bothered by his or her mother's request. And at the end, the mother shows some humor to the speaker. So I'm starting to think that in the last stanza, the mom, she chimes in and she says, why not go left instead when the request is to go right to bed? And I'm wondering if this could indicate a possible change in the speaker's feelings as the mother is starting to show some understanding and humor towards the speaker. And I'm thinking that a possible theme at this point might be that growing up is hard to do. So readers, do you see how I read the poem first all the way through, and then I came back, and at each stanza, I thought through, how does the speaker feel about this topic? How do the speaker's feelings connect to real life? And what is the theme? So as we continue to go off today, I want you to continue to determine the theme using different poems. Be sure that you use this strategy of how does the speaker feel about the topic? How do the speaker's feelings connect to real life? And what is the theme? And let's remember, this strategy is really important because as we notice speakers' feelings in a poem, it's one way that poets provide clues about possible themes. Off you go.